Dorothy was sitting at her dining room table on a quiet Wednesday morning last week, staring at a medical invoice totaling $847. Her hands would not stop trembling. She is 74 years old. She depends entirely on her Social Security check to survive. And that invoice right there in her hands was from a hospital visit she had made 3 months earlier. She assumed she was obligated to pay it. She had always taken care of her financial responsibilities. That is what responsible, honest people do, is it not? But here is the thing Dorothy had absolutely no idea about. The law was firmly on her side. That hospital was actually violating federal regulations by sending her that bill in the first place. And on top of that, she had already handed over $312 from earlier invoices she never actually owed anyone. Dorothy is far from the only one going through this. At this very moment, millions of elderly Americans across this country are writing checks for bills they are completely exempt from under the law. Bills the federal government has already declared they should never have to pay. Bills that are silently draining their retirement funds month after month without anyone raising an alarm. If you are 60 years of age or older, please keep watching, because what I'm about to walk you through today could put hundreds, possibly even thousands of dollars right back into your pocket before this year is over. My name is Masha, and I serve as a senior policy analyst and retirement finance specialist here at TaxWise Seniors. My entire purpose on this channel is to take the complicated, confusing rules buried deep inside government policy documents and turn them into plain, simple language so that you can protect both your finances and your peace of mind. Today, I am going to guide you through 5 very specific types of bills that large numbers of seniors continue paying every single month, even though federal law provides them with powerful legal protections against those exact charges. I will give you the precise rule, the exact form name, and the specific phone number you need to take action. And I am asking you to please stay through to the very end of this video, because there is one critical error I see seniors repeat over and over again, an error that can completely erase every single protection I am going to describe today. Even if you follow every other piece of advice in this video perfectly, this one mistake alone can cost you absolutely everything. I will walk you through it near the close of the video. But before we dive into those 5 bills, I want to tell you about a man named Gerald. Gerald is 67 years old, a retired letter carrier from the state of Ohio, the kind of hardworking, dependable man you could always count on. He spent 42 years on the job, paid every tax that was ever owed, and never once let a bill go unpaid. When Gerald reached 65, he enrolled in Medicare just like everyone told him to. He believed he was handling everything the right way. He even paid a small medical invoice that arrived in his mailbox without giving it a second thought, because that is simply the kind of man he has always been. But 2 years down the road, his daughter was helping him sort through a pile of paperwork when she came across something that stopped her cold. Gerald had been enrolled in a specialized program called QMB, which stands for the Qualified Medicare Beneficiary Program. His state Medicaid office had quietly enrolled him automatically because his income fell below the qualifying threshold. That program meant Gerald was fully protected under federal law from paying Medicare deductibles, co-pays, and coinsurance charges of any kind. $0 owed. That is what the law says in plain black and white. But across those 2 years, Gerald had been dutifully paying every single bill that showed up in his mailbox, every doctor visit, every laboratory test, every prescription co-payment. When his daughter added it all up, the total came to over $2,800. Money he never legally owed anyone. Money that could have gone toward his grocery bills, toward time with his grandchildren, toward the heart medication he needed every single day. And here's the part of this story that genuinely breaks my heart. When Gerald reached out to those providers asking for his money back, nearly all of them returned it immediately and without a single argument because they already knew. They were fully aware they were not permitted to bill him under federal law. They were simply counting on the fact that he would never figure it out. Please do not allow that to happen to you. Let us now go through all 5 bills, one at a time, slowly and clearly, so nothing gets missed. Bill number 1 is the Medicare Part A premium. Here is exactly what the official Medicare website states. The vast majority of Americans pay absolutely nothing for Medicare Part A, which is the portion of Medicare that covers hospital stays. This is officially known as Premium-Free Part A. You are eligible for it if you or your spouse paid Medicare payroll taxes for a minimum of 40 quarters during your working life, which works out to roughly 10 years of employment. For most retired Americans, this qualification is automatic and requires no extra steps. Now in 2026, those who do not meet that requirement could face a monthly premium as high as $565 just for Part A alone. But if you put in your 10 years of work, that charge should be $0. Here is where a lot of seniors get confused and end up in trouble. Many people assume that all parts of Medicare become free once they reach 65. That is simply not accurate. Medicare Part B, which covers outpatient care and doctor visits, still carries a monthly premium of around $185 in 2026, and that amount climbs even higher if your income exceeds certain thresholds. So the distinction to keep in mind is this: Part A is typically free, while Part B is not. Please hold on to that difference because it matters. One additional warning you should not overlook. If you are still working past age 65 and you decide to skip Medicare enrollment because you are covered through your employer, you could end up facing a late enrollment penalty down the road that follows you for many years into retirement. Before you make any decision about delaying enrollment, speak directly with Medicare first. The form you may need to reference in this situation is called CMS-18-F. Please write that down somewhere safe. Bill number 2 is perhaps the most impactful one on this entire list. It involves Medicare cost sharing for QMB enrollees. This is Gerald's story, and there is a real possibility it is your story too. The Qualified Medicare Beneficiary Program, commonly referred to as QMB, is one of several initiatives grouped under what Medicare calls its Medicare Savings Programs. It is administered through your state Medicaid office. If your monthly income falls below a certain limit, there is a genuine chance you are already enrolled in this program right now and simply have no idea that it happened. Here is what federal law says about this in the clearest possible terms. Section 1902 of the Social Security Act explicitly prohibits doctors, hospitals, pharmacies, and every other Medicare participating provider from billing a QMB enrollee for any Medicare deductible, any copay, or any coinsurance. The amount owed is $0, no exceptions. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, commonly known as CMS, the agency that oversees Medicare, officially classifies it as improper billing when a provider sends you an invoice anyway. And the unfortunate reality is that this happens constantly, all across the country, every single day. So how do you find out whether you are currently enrolled in QMB? Start by looking at your Medicare Summary Notice, which are the quarterly statements that Medicare mails directly to your home. Your QMB status is now printed right on those documents. You can also pick up the phone and call 1-800-MEDICARE, which is 1-8006-334-227, and ask them directly, "Am I currently a QMB enrollee?" If the answer comes back yes, and you have been paying medical bills out of your own pocket, contact each of those providers and formally request a refund. When you do, reference CMS Publication 10239, which is titled 3 Tips for People in the QMB Program. That publication specifically instructs providers to immediately stop billing QMB enrollees and to return any money they have already collected. This single piece of information alone could be worth thousands of dollars to some of you who are watching this right now. Bill number 3 covers federal income tax on Social Security benefits and the question of tax filing itself. This particular area is a bit more layered than the others, so I want you to listen carefully to every word. According to IRS Publication 554, which is the official federal tax guide designed specifically for senior taxpayers, your Social Security benefits are completely free from federal income tax if your combined income falls below $25,000 for a single filer or below $32,000 for a married couple who files their taxes jointly. So what exactly counts as combined income for this purpose? You take your adjusted gross income, add any non-taxable interest you received, and then add exactly half of your total Social Security benefits. Add those three figures together, and if the sum comes in below those thresholds, your Social Security income faces no federal tax whatsoever. And here's another thing that slips past many seniors entirely. If your total income falls below the standard deduction, plus the additional deduction available to people who are 65 and older, you may not even be legally required to file a federal tax return at all. There is also some brand new tax relief that I need to bring to your attention right now. Under the legislation known as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, for tax years running from 2025 through 2028, Americans who are 65 and older receive an additional $6,000 deduction on top of everything else they already qualify for. This benefit does begin to phase out for individuals earning above $75,000 or couples earning above $150,000. But for the majority of seniors who are living on a fixed income, this represents a genuinely meaningful financial break. Now, please do not take what I am saying as a guarantee that seniors owe zero taxes across the board. That is not what I am telling you. If your combined income is higher, up to 85% of your Social Security can still be subject to federal taxation depending on your situation. The key is to understand your own specific numbers. And here is some excellent news. You absolutely do not have to navigate any of this by yourself. The IRS operates a completely free service called Tax Counseling for the Elderly, or TCE, which is designed specifically to serve taxpayers who are 60 years of age or older. Trained and certified volunteers will prepare your tax return for you at no charge whatsoever. Visit IRS.gov and use the search bar to look up free tax return preparation to find a location that is convenient for you. Bill number 4 is one that could protect your bank account from being wiped out. It deals with debt collectors and your federally protected benefits. If a debt collector ever contacts you and threatens to seize or garnish your Social Security income, I need you to take a slow, steady breath and absorb what I am about to say very carefully. Under the Federal Treasury regulation found at 31 C.F.R. Part 212, when a financial institution receives a legal garnishment order targeting your bank account, that bank is required by law to automatically shield 2 full months of your directly deposited federal benefits from being touched. You are not required to file any paperwork. You do not need to call anyone to trigger this protection. Your bank is legally obligated to apply it on your behalf without being asked. The categories of benefits covered by this automatic protection include Social Security retirement, Supplemental Security Income, commonly called SSI, Veterans Benefits, Federal Civil Service Retirement Payments, Railroad Retirement Benefits, FEMA Disaster Assistance, and military annuities. And when it comes to SSI specifically, the protection is even more absolute. SSI benefits are fully shielded even from government-related debt collection efforts and even from child support claims. Essentially, nothing can reach them. But here is the critical trap you need to know about before it catches you off guard. This automatic legal protection is only triggered when your benefits arrive through electronic direct deposit into your account. If you are still receiving a paper check and then depositing it yourself at the bank, you forfeit the automatic protection entirely. Your complete account balance could be frozen without warning, and you would then be forced to appear in court to prove that the funds are exempt. So your first step, if you are still receiving paper benefit checks, is to switch to direct deposit immediately. Call the Social Security Administration at 1-800-77-21213 or visit SSA.gov to make that change. One important clarification before we move on: while Social Security income is protected from the vast majority of private debt collectors, it can still be subject to garnishment for federal tax debts, federal student loan obligations, and child or spousal support orders. SSI, however, cannot be touched for any of those reasons. That is a meaningful distinction worth understanding. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, known as the CFPB, also provides a free sample letter that you can send directly to debt collectors, informing them that your income is legally exempt from collection. You can find that letter at consumerfinance.gov. Bill number 5 is for those of you who enjoy traveling and still like to get on an airplane from time to time. It concerns TSA screening accommodations specifically available to travelers who are 75 and older. If you have reached 75 years of age, the Transportation Security Administration officially provides expedited screening procedures at airport security checkpoints for passengers in your age group. You are not required to remove your shoes. You are permitted to keep a light jacket or sweater on your body during the screening process. If you rely on a walker, a wheelchair, or any other mobility assistance device, alternative screening arrangements are available to you. And in situations where dedicated expedited lanes are not open or available, you may use the TSA pre-check lane specifically to access these accommodations. Now, to be entirely transparent, this is not precisely a bill you are avoiding in the traditional sense, since the TSA does not charge individual passengers a screening fee at the checkpoint. But here is the very practical financial point I want you to hear. Countless seniors over the age of 75 are currently paying $78 every 5 years to maintain a TSA pre-check membership. In the majority of those cases, they simply do not need it. You already qualify for comparable treatment at the security checkpoint solely on the basis of your age. And if you have a medical device, such as a cardiac pacemaker or an insulin pump, or if you have any physical condition that makes the standard screening process difficult or painful, you can call TSA Cares directly at 855-787-2227. Place that call at least 72 hours before your scheduled departure, and they will arrange specialized assistance tailored to your needs. You also have the right to request a private screening with a companion present at any airport at any time without any advance notice required. Please do not allow unnecessary fees or stressful, uncomfortable airport experiences to stand between you and the people you love most. Now, I made you a promise earlier, and I intend to keep it. I told you I would reveal the single hidden mistake that has the power to undo every protection I have shared with you today. Here it is. The biggest and most costly mistake that seniors make is assuming that the government will automatically apply these protections on their behalf. It will not. Federal benefit exemptions, consumer protections, and legal safeguards do not enforce themselves without your involvement. You are the one who must claim them. You are the one who must speak up and ask the right questions. Gerald paid over $2,800 in bills he never legally owed because not a single person informed him about QMB. The hospital knew. Medicare knew. But no one picked up the phone and told Gerald. Dorothy nearly handed over $847 because she assumed that any bill arriving in her mailbox must be legitimate and must be paid. These protections exist. The laws are genuinely on your side, but the system functions precisely because it counts on you remaining uninformed. That is why you must make it your business to stay informed. Let me leave you with 3 concrete actions you can take starting this week. Step 1. Go to Medicare.gov or dial 1-800-Medicare and ask directly and clearly, am I currently enrolled in any Medicare savings program such as QMB, SLMB, or QI? If the answer is yes, request a complete record of every bill you should not have paid during the past 2 years and then reach out to each of those providers to request a full refund. Step 2. Confirm without delay that your Social Security income and any other federal benefits you receive are set up for electronic direct deposit rather than paper check delivery. Call the Social Security Administration at 1-800-77-21213 or sign into your personal account at SSA.gov to verify your current setup. That one single step is what protects your money from improper garnishment attempts. Step 3. Create and maintain a dedicated folder, an actual physical paper folder, containing every bill, every Medicare summary notice, every letter from Social Security, and every bank statement you receive. If something ever appears incorrect or suspicious, you will have the documented proof right there in your hands, ready to use. Your knowledge is your strongest defense against a system that benefits from your confusion. Before we wrap up today, there is one more thing I want you to hear. YouTube notifications are simply not dependable enough to keep you consistently informed. The platform algorithm determines what content reaches you and when, and the rules and figures I shared with you today are subject to change. Medicare updates its premium amounts and program thresholds annually. The IRS revises its income limits on a regular basis. New pieces of legislation like the One Big Beautiful Bill arrive and reshape the landscape. So please do not rely exclusively on this channel as your only source of information. Bookmark Medicare.gov. Bookmark SSA.gov. Bookmark IRS.gov. Those are your official, authoritative government sources. Our role here is to help translate what those sources publish into language that is actually understandable. They are the ones who make it official. And if anything in this video helped you today, even if it was just one single piece of information, I am asking you sincerely to share it with another older adult in your life. A neighbor who lives down the street, a close friend from your place of worship, a sibling, anyone who might not have heard this message yet. Because the seniors who suffer the greatest financial harm from these overlooked protections are almost always the ones who simply never received the information. I am Masha, and this is TaxWise Seniors. Stay informed, stay protected, and I will be right here waiting for you in the next video.